Hey everybody, what's going on? Mike from Trailworks here. We're out at Bacon Ridge, hanging out, shooting some footage. One of the things we wanted to get done today is my personal bike check. This is something that everybody's seen at the shop, not on the trail as much recently, but this is definitely my baby, my daily driver. This is the 2020 Specialized S-Works Enduro. Obviously just frame, it's just custom build up for me and stuff that I like. So we've talked about the Enduro before, 170 travel in the rear, something weird happening up front, which we'll get to. But you know, again, this bike for me is really I don't like to use my brakes. I don't want to be, you know, caught without enough bike on a descent, because over the years of mountain biking, one thing I've really learned is that I really like going downhill. I really like going fast, cornering, you know, loading up the front tire. I really enjoy the speed, and so this bike is really kind of built for traction, fun, and who knows what's going to happen. I don't really have to worry about whether it's snowshoe or, you know, 100 miler. It doesn't really matter. This bike just generally makes me happy. And if there's one thing I can say about whatever bike you choose, it really should make you happy, because when you look at it, when you're dead tired on a ride, if something, you know, puts you in a good mood, it definitely helps the rest of your day and helps you have a good time on the bike. So having a good looking bike for me is super important. The most important thing I think is probably the color. You know, this is one of Jason Phipps, Phipps Drips. That's our boy. Jason painted this a couple years ago when he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do with bike painting. And this is Fire Prism from 3M, I think. He'll correct me on that. And he really did an amazing job. You know, the closer you get, the better it looks. So it all starts with color for me. I like a good looking bike. There's not a lot of bikes that can pull off a bronze stem and handlebar with orange hubs, but this bike has all those colors built into it. We'll throw a little walk around panning shot so you can see some of those colors right about here-ish. So some of the other things we got going on, Chris King hubs. I'm a huge fan of Chris King hubs. I think they're just the best in the world. So it's easy to start with a nice solid wheel set with Chris Kings. I also went up to a 35mm internal rim, carbon rim from Knox. They make great stuff. They have a couple different layout options available, width, things like that. So something you can really customize. And you know, straight or standard pull spokes on these carbon rims. 2.6 specialized rubber front and rear. The 2.6 fits really well on these rims. Gives you a really good profile on the ground. You can run lower pressures than kind of even normal. And we went with the Grid Trail or Grid, depending on the model year, tire casing on here. So really happy with those tires. Running the a little leader in the rear, Butcher up front, pretty much as always. DD bar stem grips. We've got a specialized power saddle, or as Pete from Road Fab calls it, the lady saddle. It is supremely comfortable, so you can say whatever you want. I love this saddle. We've also got bike yoke dropper. We're a service center for bike yoke. I think they make the best dropper post on the planet right now. Least amount of service, easiest to take care of, just a great dropper post. A little pricey, but in my opinion, worth every penny. XO1 drivetrain, pretty standard I think for 1052 in the rear. Everybody likes those. I got code brakes, like downhill brakes. You can never have too much braking power, in my opinion. Rear shock, we went with the Fox Air downhill unit. So this is the Float X2. Independent low speed and high speed compression and rebound, big volume air can, low IFP pressures, so super reactive, really great rear shock. And then of course this goofy as hell fork up front. A friend of mine gave me one of these, wanted me to check it out. That was almost 2 years ago, and still really enjoying the Trust fork. Don't even know what the travel is officially. They call it the long travel version, but it's a bit of a carbon monstrosity, and essentially the only thing you really need to know about it is that it works really well. It's a great design. It's not perfect certainly, but if you like to really attack downhills and you really don't want to feel that brake dot, it's a great fork. I run it fully open, and just the natural, you know, kinematics, or the way that a fork moves, handles that anti-dive stuff that I would usually run a lot of low speed compression on a HC97 or a Grip 2 damper from Fox. So this fork again allows me to kind of ride like an idiot into steep that I don't really know what's going to happen, and the fork really keeps the ride up so that the front end of the bike stays up and you don't get into too much danger. Not much else really to talk about. You know, I got some flat pedals on there right now from FlowCheck, the new jumps 2 weeks ago. You know, normal sealed cartridge bearings. I don't run anything fancy like the ceramic bearings. Just a real basic build if, you know, a fancy bike can be basic. But no carbon bar, you know, that's so much travel, you don't really need that. But this is my Enduro, this is my girlfriend, this is, you know, the bike I spend a ton of time on. And it's the kind of bike that, you know, we can make something for you too. You know, if you want something a little different, you want to build your own, or you want to swap some parts out, we're really here to help make sure that everybody gets a bike that suits their personality and their riding style. So you get some things that look different and work different, but really come together to make a great package. So this is my 2020 S-Works Enduro build. I'm absolutely in love with it, and yeah, come see us at Trailworks for your suspension and super bike needs.